Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist. It is, I think it's Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday. It's Wednesday. Dang, all right, it's Wednesday, February something, the 5th. I didn't even look. I was so wrapped up getting Carl ready that I wasn't paying no attention to that. What day is it? All right, here's Carl. Check this out. Carl, the liberal atheist comic. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning. Big pimpin' with the LAC.
There, yes. How you doing today?
All good in the hood.
Is it early for you, or are you?
Well, not as early as it is for you. It's 7 o'clock here, 6 o'clock over there. So
yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're doing okay. Good morning, Kristen. Best name ever is here. Dave, of course, is here. All the usuals. Raven was here earlier. I'm sure Mathpig is probably listening. So good morning to everybody. And yeah, so I'm really excited to have you with me. This is obviously the first time, but me and you've kind of gone back a little ways. Whenever I popped my head back into the atheist sphere, you were one of the first people I bumped into. How's it going, man?
Yeah, it's going well. Things have been a little slow over the last month or so because I had that problem with my mother dying. And so I've just been off doing that kind of tying up loose end stuff. But, it's all good.
Good. Yeah, because you were pretty hot and heavy there with the gym over at the Atheist Edge. And then all of a sudden I didn't see you no more. You were just kind of gone. So I knew you were doing the house thing.
Going to East Texas and dealing with business that you have to when someone dies.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry to hear about that. That was unfortunate. Bad timing too. It all kind of happened right at the worst possible time with the holidays and the sale of your home. And
well, these things are going to happen. She was 86 years old, and it's a funny thing on all this stuff. People think that comedy is difficult to write. And for me, it just ends up being stuff that happens that you talk about.
Right.
After my mother died, I had to go down to a little town called San Augustine, Texas. And it's in East Texas, close to Louisiana. Well, I had to go down with a friend because she had an old car that was sitting in the assisted living facility parking lot. And I had to go down there and pick that up and get rid of a bunch of stuff. So as we're driving down, I guess on some level, you see people wearing the MAGA hats and with all the Trump paraphernalia. I'm assuming that you buy it online. I'm assuming that you get it at, one of the Trump rallies. But as I'm driving down, there's actually a Trump store.
A Trump store?
Yeah, a retail brick and mortar store.
And where was this?
This was a little bit south of Longview. It's in East Texas.
Okay, yeah. No surprise.
As we're going down, I'm thinking, oh, Lord, these are not my people. This isn't going to go well for me.
Right.
So I get down to the assisted living facility, and I don't know if you have had much experience with this kind of thing, but in this particular facility, it was a little more nursing homey kind of deal. I'd say 75% of the people that were there have some level of dementia.
Okay.
So, I would be clearing out stuff, going through paperwork in my mother's room. And I'd leave to get a cup of coffee, and someone would approach me. Well, who are you here visiting? Which I kind of get.
Yeah.
Except I had met them 30 minutes before.
And
so I have to reintroduce myself. It's like going to college and remembering your social security number. Every time you're anywhere, that's going to show up.
Right.
And the one line that you hear over and over again, oh, she's in a better place.
Yeah, that's true.
You're in an assisted living facility in San Augustine, Texas. You didn't raise the bar very high on being in a better place. Let's just be honest.
Actually, I work for a senior community. I do IT for them. They have properties across the country, And so I'm very familiar. Office out of one of them here, so I'm very familiar with them. Obviously, I can't really talk about the residents that I have, but I've had a lot of wonderful experiences. They've been a lot of fun. I mean, then of course there are the ones that do have the dementia. You know, when I first started working there, I'd say she's got the D, and then in our culture, there's another where they, wants the D or something. The D refers to something completely different. And
needs the D and the V.
Yeah, the first time I said it, it caught my brain. I thought I was being clever. She has the D or he has the D, thinking dementia, but it only took like a couple of seconds, and I realized how inappropriate that was. So I never.
Well, if we're going to be inappropriate, one of the other things that people will say to you in these circumstances, if they don't know who you are and they don't know the relationship, were you close? And it struck me that were you close is appropriate both for a funeral and right after sex.
Yeah, I guess so. That's true. What's your name? Well, I guess that's not appropriate after a funeral. Who's your daddy? Yeah. These are not my people. Yeah, that's true. And it's funny that you mentioned that. I was raised up in West Texas, and
whereabouts?
Odessa, Midland.
Got it. Yeah.
So, right halfway between Dallas and El Paso, right there. And so I understand what you mean. When I go back in that direction, which I haven't been there in a while, but I have an adopted son who lives down there, and I drive back and forth to get him. And I see the craziness. I have photographs. Somebody on the side of the road near Gardendale had taken several of these tankers, the tank things, not cargo haulers, but they're like trucks, big trucks anyway, and painted them pink, hot pink, with like some green accents, so you'd see them, you didn't miss them. And then it was right outside of Gardendale, Texas, and it talks about how Gardendale is going to hell and they're going to burn in the fires because of whatever.
In pink. Yeah,
in pink.
Of course, because there is your satanic message right there.
Yeah, they really wanted to get your attention as you drove through, So I don't know who they made, who in Gardendale made somebody mad, but they put a lot of effort and money into spouting some religious hate at them. Of course, to me, it was a wonderful photo op.
Well,
I need to dig that up.
All of this stuff is just craziness to me.
Right.
Are you planning to watch the vote today in the Senate?
No, I wasn't. I mean, I've been trying to. I'm on the fence, brother. I've been trying to avoid the politics thing and trying to get into it. I don't know what to do. I don't know. Should I turn left? Should I go? I really like the politics. I'm passionate about the liberal side, brother. I am. It even says on my profile, liberal atheist. That's what, I've never hid that, but I don't really try to get into it too much. And yet lately, and then the Iowa caucus happened and Justin Scott come on and we talked about all that. So normally I would absolutely say no, but today I possibly could. But it's going to happen. The Republicans are so corrupt. They're not going to, and they got the numbers, and then we've got a few. So it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Of course. I mean, the Senate Republicans are the Catholic Church of government oversight. There is nothing so bad that they're not going to overlook. So it's a foregone conclusion, but it's kind of a historic event.
Just a tiny bit. Oh yeah, no, I totally get the historic event part, but then his entire presidency has been a historic event. It's just been a bad one.
Did you happen to see the State of the Union last night?
I did not. I normally don't expose myself to a lot of Trump directly. I got other things I'm doing. Actually, I really, to tell you the truth, I've been so busy doing we talked about how I've been building the channel and it's doing XYZ good. That takes a lot of work, man. I hardly have time to pay attention to any of this stuff. I got these friends. I try to be on their streams and support them and show them some love. I'm trying to develop a relationship with the American atheists. I should really set aside more time for things like that. But even normally when I do stop, I don't even watch liberals. I watched a little bit of Bernie the other night, maybe 5 whole minutes, but normally I don't even watch Bernie. I try to avoid all that, but by that same token, I'm on the cusp of possibly starting an evening live stream. That would be,
wow.
Yeah, it would be politics related. Do I do that? I've been trying to decide. Do I do it? I want to find a good, politically minded, liberal, atheist host to work the show with me. And then I probably will
do. We go anyone that's a liberal atheist, maybe with a sense of humor?
Yeah, I don't know.
You can find a liberal atheist comic. I mean, for example, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. Or somebody who's funny.
Who knows? Well, I mean, let's not raise the bar that high.
Let's not get crazy here.
I know, so that's insane.
I've been thinking about it, but it does become quite although it's been great for the channel having the morning show, and it's been great for me socially because I've met so many wonderful people. I'm kind of torn whether to do it. I'm going to do a live stream in the evenings, probably 5 days a week, maybe 6. I don't know, but politics
is a difficult issue.
Well, it's a difficult issue, but man, it's easy to just turn it on and go, okay, I'm here. I don't have to sit around going, what am I going to talk about this? When I first started the Daily Show, I would fret every morning before the show. I'd be like, I'd look on the web and find an article to talk about. And I was just powerfully nervous, because I didn't have anything specific. But we start talking about politics and the craziness of what's going on in there. Where should Trump be? He should be in prison. And I go off, man. It's easy. I just don't know if I want to spend my time being angry all the time.
Well, on one level, I hate Donald Trump like Samuel L. Jackson hates snakes on a plane.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I get him. He isn't as disturbing to me
as
the people that follow him.
Oh, yes.
Because I get Donald Trump.
Hashtag truth.
I get the narcissistic sociopath. What I don't get is why people fall for this stuff.
I know. It's, and I've been surprised by the people who fall for it. Good morning, Neil. Good morning, Mathpig. El Pigo de Matho is here. Maya is here. All my favorite peeps are here. I got to shout them out because if I don't, nobody will. Mathpig.
Hey, buckaroos, eat buckaroos.
This Carl, buddy of mine, Carl, I've been not doing anything, changing the subject briefly, been not doing anything in the atheist world. I kind of had my channel. I'd made a few videos in the beginning, but I'd like drop one every 2 months. And then I bumped into you and we were talking. The wife had been pressing me to do stuff. And then you and I hooked up. I don't think we really did anything, but we just we got together on Facebook and something. And I don't know what it was about that little engagement between me, you, and Atheist Edge. But all of a sudden, my Facebook blew up. I had 1,500 friends, and I started getting them 10. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd have 10 or 15 Facebook friends. And now I'm up to 3,500. And it started whenever you and I started hanging out. Other than that, it just kind of kept. And that I was like, wow, maybe I should do this thing. And then the wife started, and I started dropping videos. Then I started dropping my Evil God Monster of Abraham series. And I upped my game with my production value of my videos, and people responded and they loved it. But it all really started with you. And then I started doing the live stream. I got people in the live stream now who have been just so supportive and wonderful. Critical Cripple, where's Gatheist at, guys? Anybody seen Gatheist lately? I haven't seen Gatheist. We need to find out what's happened to him. He was here. But so all these people have been, they've been so supportive. It's just been amazing. But it really kind of started whenever you and I, our little spheres engaged that briefly, and then we went our ways again. But whenever we split up, Facebook started blowing up. And it's been a rocket ride ever since.
Well, I mean, you guys, you have done just a tremendous job on getting this thing moving up because I guess when I first met you, the dream was at someday, somehow, to get 100 subscribers.
Yeah, I had 80 when we met.
Blew past that. It just knocked it dead.
Yeah. I started applying myself. But that's the whole deal. I mean, I want to begin, I'm just checking my chat there. I want to begin with that second stream and get it growing even more. And I've got my co-hosts like Atheist Pastor and Jay. Jay was really an awesome co-host. Atheist Pastor was wonderful. He's been sick. I may get one or both of them back. I was going to rotate out hosts on the morning show and then eventually find people to take over and let it grow on its own, because I want it to be the Daily Atheist morning show, not the Chris Mallard morning show. But I got to be a part of it, right, and have fun. But then
I mean, this is you. So this is the deal.
There is that. And then also with the evening show, I want to come up with an evening show that's fun and interesting, and I've just really been vexing. But then again, it'd be the same thing. I want to find other people to engage our community, especially other content creators. If I can get other content creators rotating in, they'll grow their channel. I'll grow my channel. We'll grow our community. It'll be wonderful. That's how I went from 80 to 530. In just a couple of months, was working towards that goal. And I'm waiting for a big bump. I'm hoping I'll have somebody on my channel and they'll bring a lot of subscribers. Aaron Ra, just imagine, if somebody like him was to pop on, I might swell my ranks past 1,000, who knows? And then continue to grow the community. I'd like to, and this is just a notion I'd like to have. I've got other friends in here who are content creators. I've been having the notion that I could, with StreamYard, broadcast out to 5 separate locations, stream places. Right now, broadcast out to Facebook and YouTube. So I could broadcast out to, if I created a network of friends who wanted to broadcast the morning show, I could broadcast to their channels as well, driving subs and viewers to their channels and to me, and have a little network. Well, so I got 3 other places with StreamYards to do that. That's 2 other friends that I could stream, and then one stream would go to Restream. Restream's another place that would stream out to multiple places. So I could have 8 or 10 different friend content creators streaming my morning show live with me on their channels as well as mine. That's an interesting notion I had. It was a stroke of genius. Best name ever, Kristen. I have not asked. Let me pop this up on L's screen. I have not asked Aaron Ra because I'm afraid he'll say no. I want to build the morning show and get it. I've been working on the production value and getting things up. My little studio, the peeps who I have, so I'm hoping that whenever I do ask, I'll be able to go, look at what I got. It's worth you coming on. So in theory, we'll see. Yeah, he's pretty busy. So I also want to, but it's a stream, right? We'll just have to see what's going on. Is there enough?
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And he happens to live in the same little suburb that I live in.
Ah, okay. Oh, really?
A few times. He's a really nice guy. If you ask him and he's available, my guess is he'll probably try to make it happen.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, and that's part of my issue in that the time tends to be a problem for some people. The 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning. Some of them have jobs and lives. Nagasuchi, the raging atheist, can't come on because at this time in the morning he's driving his daughter to school. So it's bad time for some people. That's one of the reasons why I was thinking if I was to create an evening atheist-oriented show, then perhaps I could get more involvement, more engagement. So it's been a learning process.
Well, if nothing else, maybe you just do a video with him, and put it on YouTube. If the timing doesn't work out for this, find another avenue to do it.
Oh yeah, well I'm sure that's kind of what I'm saying. Everybody who I've mentioned it to says he's wonderful, and they're sure he'll do it. I just want to be ready when the time is right, and anytime soon. Now I'm ready. I'm trying to grow as fast as I can. I have goals, and this is getting my atheist nutbaggery out to the world, spreading my craziness, but it's also a business.
And I don't think
no kidding about
people
that.
realize how much effort has to go into this thing.
True.
Until you get to a certain level, there's no money in this.
Oh yeah, no money.
And so
money. That's funny. Sorry, carry on.
I mean, it's hilarious to me that people will get on and be complete dicks about what is going on a video or a live stream. You're complaining about free content.
Absolutely.
It's craziness. So, I don't let any negative comments bother me at all. Right. They can take a draw on my love straw. I don't care anything at all about what the haters
I'm writing that
say
one
about
down.
See what I'm trying to do on language for you?
Yeah, I'm stealing.
trying to stay away from the really hardcore stuff.
You're doing great. No, I'm stealing that though. I'm stealing it. That's I'll be in a group of people and I'll be love strong. I got this voice every now and then. I talk like this right here, like I kind of read. My wife hates that voice. She says it sounds so ignorant. I have such a hoot doing it.
There was actually another thing that happened. Your voice made me think of this. When I was down in San Augustine, I was the executor of the will, and so I had to talk to an attorney who, in this little town, is the county attorney. And so I set up the appointment, and this is absolutely, I promise you the truth.
Okay.
At 10 o'clock in the morning, I go for the appointment. He comes in, red flannel shirt, jeans, hadn't shaved in, I'm going to guess, 3 weeks. That just out of bed hair thing going on. He walks in, come on back. My condolences on your mother. I apologize for the way I'm dressed, but right after we finish this, I'm going hog hunting.
Got to have your priorities.
He stares at me. You want to go with me? And I'm thinking, well, gosh, maybe we should handle this whole thing with my mother.
Yes.
And then, it's the beginning of the weekend in San Augustine, so maybe to stroll through the forest with some deliverance hillbilly playing dueling banjos.
Bada bang, ding, 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 ding. Sorry.
Right before we murder a terrified mammal. Yes, let's do that.
I'm from the South, so that banjo thing is like a romantic prelude.
It is. Who's going to be the prison wife?
That's right. My prison bitch, you're not like other men. Have you heard that?
Yes.
I just ganked their stuff. Yeah, so sorry to hear about that. Kirsten, she's not a job person. I'm not a job person either. Just checking my chat. Nerdy Rodent. Good morning, Nerdy. Nerdy Rodent has shown up. Hola, el rodento de nerdo. And then Mathpig.
I love it when you talk foreign.
I know. You didn't know I spoke Spanish, did you? Actually, I do that for fun, and I always have. I've always, because I'm from Texas, I don't know. It's just I've always done that. I'll say something, I'll just put an O in it, and I'll say, "You didn't know I spoke Spanish," but I actually do. I really do a little bit speak Spanish. I really can. I'm not as ignorant as I make it sound. It takes effort, dedication to sound this ignorant.
Well, El Camino
is
Spanish for the Camino.
The Camino. Yes. That's right.
Yeah.
Or cancer, right? El Cancer.
And, I don't know. Do you like history at all?
Yeah, I enjoy me some history. Quite a bit.
There's a little bit of kind of political history that very few people are aware of. You might be because, you're from Texas. Mm-hmm. Recently, they've uncovered documents with some elderly Mexican prostitutes talking about their involvement with Lyndon Johnson. And apparently, his nickname among that community was LBJ.
LB. All right, so elderly Mexican prostitutes. I was just making sure, but I was looking at something. I was just making sure that registered in my brain.
Yes.
LBJ.
They'd have to be old because
LBJ. I get it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm simple. Yeah, that's funny. I hadn't, wasn't he was he the one who used to break his dong out? One of them used to, was it? Yeah, Johnson used to be very proud of his pride. Am I wrong?
It pays to advertise. I think we all know that.
Yeah. Well, LBJ. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it was him. I'm sure somebody will correct us in the thing. He used to break out his willy at parties. And, who hasn't been one to do that? I mean,
ain't no party like a West Coast party,
right? So what have you been doing? Are you getting back in the? For those who don't know, we didn't really take time to introduce you or anything. I'm sorry. So this is Carl, the liberal atheist comic. And he has a story about how he actually lost a job because of his comedy. He was a stand-up comic at was it a casino?
No, it was a private event. It
Oh,
was a group that, I'm kind of careful to some degree when I'm doing private events. If I'm in a club, I figure you've come and I've been introduced as the liberal atheist comic.
mhm.
It's kind of in the title. So how surprised are you going to be if I go after Trump or if I go, after religion? It's, come on.
Right.
Well, I was doing this. There were two shows, and it was in a fairly, for me, large size theater. It was a 350 seat venue. So I did the first show, and I'm pretty sure that I know where the problem was. I do a deal about God and guns.
Oh,
And the line is, it's really weird how after a church shooting, the first thing that people do is pray. Praying for the victims of a church tragedy is like shooting up for the victims of a heroin overdose. Okay, so I'm thinking that might have been.
Maybe,
But then I
possible.
follow it up and I say, but come on, we're in Texas.
Did they boo you? Or I'm
No,
just
no
curious.
one
Okay,
booed.
carry on. They didn't shoot at you. You already mentioned it
Well,
already.
not yet. But
Not at this point in the story.
I followed up with, we're in Texas, and so no one's going to do anything about high capacity semi-automatic weapons.
Right.
So I think what we ought to do is shut down all the churches and turn them into massage parlors. Because you've never had a mass shooting at a massage parlor. Okay,
That's
so
a good point.
I'm thinking that had to be where there was a problem.
There may have been a problem.
Because the other stuff I think was fairly innocuous. And so they fired me for the second show.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that the day after, and this had nothing to do with anything, but Jim Hall over at Atheist Edge happened to see some stand-up that I did at the Improv and asked me to be on the show.
Okay.
And after having been fired in this one venue and finding an audience that was into what my comedy is in the atheist community, I just went all in and I said, Carl Merritt, screw him. Now it's the liberal atheist comic. And that's the way that I go on stage. So
Gotcha.
I'm full in. There's no coming back from this one now.
I know, right? I'm gonna plug your stuff here. Here's his website. Let me share the screen. It literally is liberalatheistcomic.com.
Yep.
Go give Carl a look. He's got like Vogue poses. Do I make you horny, baby? Do I make you envy? So go check that out.
I look at that and my first thought, I would do him. Yeah.
Is that your
I'm
first
straight,
thought?
and I would do it.
Yeah. I hadn't gone there. Maybe for the courtesy of a guest. I'm not against such things. It just never kind of dawned on me. But moving on, and we're walking.
Just to play on this just a little bit. One of the things that I think that the Iowa. I mean, how is this for? I'm the king of transitions.
Okay.
One thing about the Iowa caucus that is just ridiculous is the demographic makeup of it. It's for the Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
It's 90% white. It's not diverse. It may be okay for the Republicans because they tend to be more of a white party, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting is who wins in Iowa? The black candidate. Barack Obama wins in Iowa, and this is what kicks him off. Mm-hmm. Now, because apparently they aren't into book learning in Iowa and counting is an issue for them,
right.
You don't have a final thing on this, but now it looks like the gay guy may end up winning there.
Yeah.
So this, maybe it's just the hardcore liberals that are in Iowa and it doesn't represent anything else. Yeah. But it's uplifting to me that Obama and Mayor Pete can win in these early kind of
That's right.
Situations.
Or at least show. They at least, I mean, they did good. I wasn't, Pete did better than I thought he was going to do.
Well, right now in delegates, he's winning.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No doubt. I thought he would come in third. So he is doing better than I thought he would do. But I'm just glad that he was able to do it in our society now. And did you hear about that Iowan who heard that he was gay and right at that point said, "Oh, I didn't know he was gay," and changed and left his thing or something? I didn't actually read the whole thing. I just heard about it. Saw a clip on. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know the particular thing, but
found out he was gay and bailed on him.
This is his brand.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, I didn't know Carl Merritt was going to be talking about being an atheist. Really?
Right.
That wasn't something that was going to happen.
Right. That's right. All right. So here's an article on it. Yeah, I'm sure some of you people have seen it. I'm going to go ahead and do this again. Here we are. And this is, I'm not going to watch it. I don't want to give them the credit, but yeah, apparently she, of an Iowa woman being asked if she knew he was gay. And whenever she found out he was gay, she didn't want to do the thing anyway. So that's all they get from me because I don't like hate peoples. I don't like supporting them. So,
well, I think we can both agree that it is a little bit
I hate haters. Sorry.
Well, it's disconcerting. I mean, you look at, Rush Limbaugh got the presidential medal last night, ceremony with Melania, as of course is traditional.
Yeah.
And, he's anti-gay marriage. And I understand his position because gay marriage is really disrespectful to his 4 marriages.
Right, and exactly.
It's so damaging to how much
to the institution of marriage.
The institution. We've got to respect the institution. And all 4 of his marriages have been disrupted because of this.
There's a difference between a wedding and a marriage. And some of them don't seem to know, and this whole before the eyes of the Lord thing, and this whole gays are just, this is a new thing, whenever we've got Indians have history of gay, it's just ridiculous. I think it's just all ridiculous. We're going through this in this age. We have this problem.
How can this still be a thing? And I really think that with a very small group, it's still a thing.
And what's not natural is for a species to make themselves celibate like the Catholic Church is trying to do. There's gay or homosexual or whatever in lots of different species and animals, tons and tons and tons and tons of it. But you don't see self-celibacy like you do in our race with the religious nutbags.
And so you're thinking Catholic priests are celibate?
Well, define celibate. If sex with women is forbidden, then they may be celibate. Yeah. If other things that I probably really don't want to get into too much here, I have a little radio spot, and I got to go find it somewhere, and it's me with some Irish music in the background, and it's going, are you tired of having your, getting sued and all this is by Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys. So it was a fake commercial for Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys.
Well, my feeling's always been, if you're frightened by pedophiles, grow up.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, let's put them in their specific case. I mean, I had no idea it was as big as it was, as it is. It's still going on. I'm sure it's still going on. But there's this one movie about what happened. I believe it's in the Boston area or something.
Spotlight.
And there's hundreds of priests in one city. How it's just ridiculous. It's scary. And then, if McDonald's had done that, we'd have shut down McDonald's. I don't care how big they are. If all of McDonald's, if like 3 out of every 4 McDonald's had a manager that was molesting little kids, we'd have shut McDonald's down and that business would be no more. But we don't do that with the Catholic Church. And it needs to happen. People need to stop giving money to the Catholic Church.
Well, for me, I don't understand why anybody gets into this stuff. I mean, I'm talking about the donating to religions. I was married to a Catholic girl, and at the end of her life, she found comfort in the religion. So, alrighty then. But I've never understood. See, it's funny I don't know how you came to this whole liberal atheist thing, but to me, it's just a symptom of an underlying condition, critical thinking.
Yeah.
If you're a critical thinker, of course, you're not going to believe in superstition.
Right. But I've seen this meme, and it really encapsulates this notion. There's two kind of people. There's the kind of person that says, I that's never happened to me, and I don't want that to happen to anybody. And there's the kind of person who says, I had to go through that. You should have to go through that. I think I said that wrong. It happened to me. I was hurt, and I don't want anybody else to hurt that way. That's one kind of person. Something hurt me, and I don't want anybody else to be hurt. And then there's the other kind of person who was, I was hurt like this. You should be hurt like this too. Everybody should have to go through this pain that I went through. And that's really true.
I call that frat boy thinking.
There you go, frat boy kind of thinking. Yeah, it's because it's true.
I was stupid enough to get naked and pick a grape up with my ass from a block of ice. So everyone should do it.
Right.
No one should have done it. You shouldn't have done it. And at some point, you've got to stop.
Yep. Very
why
true.
People believe any of this stuff. See, I don't even like the word belief, if the truth be known.
Right.
Because once you say belief, anything goes. I believe in the invisible sky giant. I believe robots are stealing my luggage.
Right.
Both are equally believable to me.
Yeah.
So, you can't make any discernment at all.
Anne throws in another person. She's talking about, or the person who says, I wasn't hurt by that, so I don't believe you were hurt by that. And that's kind of, I get that. There are people out there who like that. That's very true. I got into an argument yesterday with a guy, a brief argument, because I don't waste a lot of time with these folks, with a guy who was defending the Proud Boys.
Really?
Yeah, he was trying to defend how they're not a hate organization, and I went and I looked, and I was like, literally their own definition is male chauvinist. So they're denigrating to women. I put up popped in the definition in case you're curious what the definition is, and he just kept on equivocating for them. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your defense of a hate group, and I just bounced. Let him do what he wants to do, because I got no time for that. If I was going to spend time doing that sort of thing, I'd go watch the stuff we were talking about that I need to go watch. So,
well, and that's where I think we're at these days, that I don't really waste an awful lot of time engaging people that want to be pro-Trump.
Yeah, true. True.
I'm not going to explain the science behind flat Earth being bullshit.
Right.
It's a fool's errand. You go about your business and believe whatever you want to believe. You are lost.
Right. Yeah.
So we need to deal with the thinkers, the people that can say, maybe it's not a good idea to have a president that's lied 16,500 times in the 3 years he's been president.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
And if that's okay with you, then this is your guy. You're going to end up with.
But that's the problem. It is okay with them. And that's the scary thing. Just like you said earlier, I really got to echo what you said. Trump is not necessarily the scariest thing. It's his followers, the people who believe and don't care. Just like you said just now, he told all those lies, and they're okay with it because he's lying for the same cause they believe in. It's like Takira, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But he's lying. If he's telling lies and if he's doing bad things, it's to protect the country and to stop these bad brown people from doing anything. It's to stop the gays from doing anything. We've got so many trans people are assaulting little girls and little boys in I'm sorry. That's conservative politicians.
Exactly.
That's that. You know what I mean? If there's a group spearheading hate in our country, it's Christians. Absolutely. Now, if we take the planet, the El Globe, you didn't know I spoke Spanish, did you? See? El Globe.
The globe, right?
It's the globe.
Yeah,
You're good too. You do too. I get it.
Well, now
See,
I'm bilingual.
now, I always thought she was hetero, but all right. Anyway, heterolingual. So you take the globe and you turn it like that, and on the other side of the globe, it's the same hate. It's a little more violent right now, but it's the same hate. It's just a different religion, different. It's the same but different. Absolutely. If somebody over in that part of the country or that part of the world is hurting others or is spearheading the oppression and hurt of somebody else, it's 99.5% religion. Well,
it's interesting to me in this country. I think the cycles go to extremes. I think that you could not have had a Barack Obama if you hadn't had a George W. Bush. Someone that is just a complete idiot. Right. That you wanted something different.
But something has changed now.
I don't think you could have a Donald Trump
without a Barack
Obama.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of corruption that went into Donald Trump beyond a lot of money. You look at the senators who hated the Republican senators who hated him, called him ugly things publicly, and then flipped. And now they're snarling in his defense. Something happened. They either got bought off or they got somebody's got some dirt on them. I don't want to go.
Got scared. I think they got scared of seeing
Lindsey Graham. Really?
That he does.
I don't know. Maybe so, but I don't know. I don't want to get too conspiracy theory-ish. Oh yeah, always been corrupt. True, but now they've gerrymandered so much. They've got the voting system screwed up. Hello, Iowa. Not that that's their fault, but it's just a symptom. It's a recurring symptom of a recurring problem. If we were talking about a banking app, right, we wouldn't have that kind of problems. If we could vote, if they would put the same effort that a bank puts into the security on their freaking apps, we'd all be able to vote from our phones using our thumbprint or something.
We pay bills on our phone.
But no, we can't vote. And we can't vote because they can't trust it. And yet at every freaking turn, these voting machines are having problems or hanging Chad, anyone? What was that, like 1991, 92 election or something like that? The hanging Chad all the way back. And now they're like, we went to kind of digital, sort of 1998 quality digital voting machines. Have you been down there and seen the voting machine? The last time I went down to vote, it was very unfortunate. I was like, my goodness gracious. I've played better arcade games. It was just shameful at every turn. And now it's just also corrupt. And the gerrymandering and all that, I've been predicting that it's not going to get any better. The Republicans have got it. They got their thing. It's in. It's done. McConnell's not going to get voted out. Everybody's mad about McConnell. It's not going to happen. Because he's got it so gerrymandered and all that.
I'm not sure.
I hope you're right.
I think that you've got some people that there's some contested races coming up. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't take all that many to flip the Senate.
Right.
I mean, I think you can do something in Colorado. You might be able to do something in Arizona. Mm-hmm. Here's the big shocker to me. The last poll I saw on Lindsey Graham's race, he was 2 points ahead of the black Democrat running against him. Right. 2 points.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
well,
maybe they got to give up their, life-size, anatomically correct Trump dolls and go back to helping their constituents.
Right. Well, I absolutely agree with what Maya says here. She's saying Republicans are pro-party, not pro-country. It's about money and power, and they're too far in the backtrack. But they've got it all now. They've got enough power to do what they want to do. I predicted that Trump's not going to be removed. Trump's going to win the next election, and by the time the following election comes around, they'll have got enough power in this Senate and Congress to do whatever changes they need to overturn the limit on his terms and go for a third term. I wrote it down. I want to be, it's one of those things you go, I want to be wrong. I said this in front of a lot of people. I want to look stupid later. Here it is. But if I'm right, how screwed are we?
Well, Bill Maher has said for a long time that he thinks that even if Trump loses, he's not going to leave.
Yep.
Now,
they're going to try to call it a coup or something. All right, I want to interject real quick because Old Man Dan and them, he said right here that one of the problems with liberals and atheists are we're nowhere near as organized as ridiculous right now. I started my channel January 23rd of 2019. And then my second video, I've got it right here. It was one of my political rants. I'm going to put a link into it here. And I go off. That's exactly the problem I'm going off on. I do a political rant, and the first political rant I do is against our own party because it's like herding cats, and we're so confused and so blah, 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 blah. So I'm with you, Old Man Dan. Me and you are of a mind. Carry on. Thank you.
Well, I think that one of the things that we've got to get over is this concept of we all need to have consensus. We all need to get along. I like the Eric Holder approach.
Well, we gotta have a party. If it's going to be the Democratic Party, the party has to stop forcing people on us. If they're going to hold primaries, take who we give them. Take who we vote for. Don't try to shut down the primary voting polls in the college areas because you think a certain candidate's going to get. Don't do that. Don't do that stuff. That's what they did this year. Here, we're getting ready. The very first thing that happens, the very first thing, Iowa. Voting's all crashed, blah, 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 blah. Pete Buttigieg comes out and he says, I've got it before anybody has any results. Now we've got reports, and I don't know how true they are. Is the company called the Shadow Inc.
Yes.
The name of the company that made the thing and that his investors or he invested in? Is this all true? If it is, it's just exactly the same shit that got us in last time that got Trump involved, got him in the office. On our party, our stupid people for doing that stuff. If Bernie or Warren is going to be the candidate out of the vote, then let them be that way. Let's have it. Whoever's going to be the person.
Well, I think the reports that I read on Shadow is that several of the candidates also have used their services in other areas. I think like
which one? How many?
Buddha Edge?
Yeah, how many of the candidates paid money in the tens of thousands of dollars to the app makers, besides Buttigieg?
I'll check it out, but there have been several people I think that have used the service. Maybe Biden as well.
Right now, that's a good point to be had there. Did they use the service and pay for the service? Did he use the service and pay for the service? But why would he, Buttigieg, have any financial dealings with the company that creates the app that's going to tally the votes for this caucus? Why is that good? Why is that allowed at all? That's totally Republican-esque bullshit. Totally.
Well,
and then they ask,
Chris,
why don't you trust us? Well, let's see here. You won, even though most people didn't kind of think you'd win. And we thought you'd kind of get in there close, but we didn't know you'd, right? We thought but you also paid money to the people. And then the app crashed. And then, obviously, why would we not, especially after the last election, why would we not feel this way? I felt very frustrated.
Well, I don't at this stage think there's anything like a conspiracy going on. I think what you've got is an app that went bad.
That's great.
I think that where the problem lies is with the developer, and it also lies
100%.
with the Iowa Democratic Party for not testing and retesting. Absolutely. And having multiple backups.
Which leads to the conspiracy theories and the division in the party. And now we don't trust all the Bernie people and the Warren people, which are a great many people, don't trust Buttigieg now because of X, Y, and Z. That's what I'm saying. This whole thing is just driving a division in the Democratic Party, and we're going to be fractured just if it continues. I was talking to Justin Scott, the guy from American Atheist who came on for the Iowa caucus, and we're gonna have a visit before the next I think it's a primary, and we're going to kind of predict
New Hampshire.
how things are going to go. Yeah, we're gonna have our own little predictions about what's going to happen. I want to do a little research and see what's going to happen and see how it's going to go. Let's see how it goes, because this one here was nothing. It did nothing but just drive a huge, just like the left is this big piece of glass, and it was just a big hammer. That's what happened. Right, the very first thing. It wasn't a little dink. It wasn't a little chink. It wasn't somebody coming up and smudging it, putting their lips on the glass. No, it was a big freaking hammer right out the gate in the fight against getting the office back from Trump. I don't see why.
Well, I'll tell you what disturbs me about this, Chris, is that it's pretty clear to me that you are a fan of Bernie.
Or Warren. Warren, Bernie are my tops, and then probably Buttigieg. The one I don't like, I don't really know the other ones. Pardon me, I don't know Klobuchar, and I don't know the other candidates very well because I've kind of tried to stay out of it. The only one I do not like is Biden. Mm-hmm. I can justify that. Well, because I'm not counting Bloomberg. I don't count him. I don't count Steyer. I don't count the billionaires trying to buy their way into our Democratic Party. I don't count those guys. So. That's all right. So now carry on. I like Bernie.
Okay, here's my point.
Okay.
That I also like Bernie.
Good.
I also like Warren. I like Warren because I'm a planner, and I love the person that comes up with all the plans and is very meticulous in how they come to it. Mm-hmm. Why is Donald Trump president today?
Corruption.
Is it
I'm sorry.
or is it because of the internal fight last time between the Bernie people that got pissed off and said, we're not going to vote for Hillary?
Right. Yeah, I don't.
I'm thinking, I don't care who it is.
I don't really know anybody who did
that. Presidential candidate that was a pair of sneakers tied up on an electrical wire, I would vote for that.
Right.
Before I would vote for Donald Trump.
That's right.
And to get butthurt because your candidate was slighted in some way or another. I think that Bernie was ripped off last go around. Mm-hmm. I think it was structural.
Right.
This go around, I think it was just a fuck up.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I agree. See, I totally agree with everything you just said. It's just it was bad. It was bad.
Well, it's embarrassing.
And
it's like you can't count.
The president of the Iowa Democratic Party came out and made a speech yesterday. Just before that, you saw the speech. What was the very first question they asked him? How can we trust you anymore?
Yeah,
that was the very first question. How can really? After all the drama from the last election, they made certain changes during this election to prevent the problems that happened during the last election. And it did. Oh yeah, how'd that work out for you? Well, really, again, with you, like you said, it was the app. It was probably just the app. There's no Buttigieg didn't do anything. There's nothing. There's really nothing there. It's just the history.
The party screwed up.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you haven't multiple tested, stress test this thing,
right?
But you think it's going to be electronic, right, and you don't have your phone backup system.
Yeah.
People were on that line for 3 hours trying to phone in results.
Right.
It was a mistake that the party made.
But really, forgive me, fellow nerds out there, it should have been the precinct captains open their phone, put in a number, put in another number, like 6 to 9 numbers. That's a very small amount of data. Between 16 or 1,700, let's say 2,000 locations, just to give them their birth. On a network server, that's nothing. It is tiny, tiny, tiny. It's a thimble. There's these numbers are nothing. Now, whenever they get overwhelmed is whenever the phones start ringing and they have to answer individually every person. That was the purpose of the app. But the technology was there, and it's not like the server should have gotten overwhelmed, because 16 or 1,700 is nothing, especially when we're talking small data like that. I mean, many of the businesses I've worked for have much more complex data. It should have been no problem. And you're right. It's all problems. It's embarrassing for the party. It's the party's fault. Where do we go from here? That was what I was asking Justin. And the question is, will we go on to the next primary? What carnival show are we going to have at the next primary? The Republicans are over there, and like at least they're sort of organized. Well, no, they're organized. They're together. It sure seems mostly together. We're over here. We can't. We're just having a lot of problems. We need to get over before the election, before the primary.
Well, I think this thing is going to winnow out. I mean, no question about that. You're going to come up with something.
Yeah.
But this whole thing about the caucus is quaint. Yeah. It's kind of adorable that you're still having people show up and stand in the corner and raise their hands and, do some horse trading to move from one group to another group. But there's another plan that I've seen other people in other countries use, where you go in and you go into a private little area and you vote for a person. And then at the end of the night, they count that. Oh. I know. We should try it.
La, 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 la. I'm not listening. I ain't buying it.
I know. It's insane.
Lies. Yeah, well, again, there's that, all right, so now we've moved up to the 1970s way of doing it. From the caucus is actually a 1970s creation. It sounds like it's something much older. In 1970s, though, that's really in the mind I have of people going down and getting in a little booth and doing their little voting. This is the modern age. We should not be doing this like this anymore. We've got better ways that should be explored. It's just a problem. We use antiquated things to try to solve modern issues, and we have problems like this. How many people couldn't go to the Iowa caucus because they were infirmed, injured, taking care of somebody, had a job that wouldn't let them off. Healthcare. Yeah, tons and tons of people that couldn't make it. Because you got to go down there and you got to be there at a certain time. And now we're in a more modern age. This was created in the 70s, and the doors open at 6:30, and you got to be there by 7 or something like that, right? Isn't that how it goes? 6:30, and they start counting at 7. So in larger facilities and larger places, how hard it is to park and find a place to go and be in the right place at the right time and being, I can see it being more of a nightmare than it really needs to be.
Well, in my mind, where this really gets to be ludicrous is I would like to think that smart people would say, we need to expand the right to vote to everybody. Do you need to register to vote? I'm kind of thinking that when my mother died, everybody in government knew it within a day. It goes out automatically.
Yeah.
Somehow I remember back when they had a draft that I got a letter out of the blue the day I turned 18.
Yeah, me too. I did too.
Why can't you just automatically be registered to vote?
And that was like in 1990 when I turned 18.
I know. It was even worse in the 70s. I know. It's like living history talking to me.
Yeah, I know. But, they can keep up with it then. Surely they can keep up with it now. They maybe come up with an automatic registration when people turn 18. I don't see why that wouldn't be a thing. There are people trying to get in Australia. Everybody, I only know because of the Aussies, everybody has to vote. And because of that, the parties are much more closely to the center. They're a little to the right and they're a little to the left, but they're much closer to the center. They still have their far outs, but they don't get any traction because you don't get enough votes when everybody has to vote. And that's the reason why the people on the right here fight it every time we try to make it to where it's mandatory voting, because they know if that happened, their party would be destroyed. It would be bad for them.
Well, I mean, you are clearly the tech guy between the two of us, but it also strikes me that, as we were saying about the voting at the caucus, if you're doing, what do we have here?
Old man Dan says that, wow, Dave, you look a lot. Yeah, I am 47. I started turning gray at 30. So my beard, I'm really surprised. I thought about coloring this stuff, but nah, I think I rock gray. I'd fuck me. I'd fuck me hard.
I got to tell you, Chris, if I could fuck me, I'd never leave the house. This would be a new full-time job for me.
There's that one meme on the internet that says, well, you know what? I was going to fuck myself later anyway. We normally try to watch the language, but I one of the things I was telling you about the language, I really don't mind. It's just those folks who overuse it. So it's, I expect you'll probably be on the show again. The wrinkles, I don't have any. Those are crack wrinkles. I don't have any wrinkles. Oh, that's not the right thing. Sorry. I think wrinkles. I don't have any wrinkles. We were talking about twins. I do have a twin brother. I have a common saying. I have a twin brother, and it is true. I do have a twin brother. We are fraternal. My face does not look like his face. His face does look like my ass. So
of course, yes.
In that way, we are identical. So, yeah. All right, Carl. Man, it's 7:00. I appreciate you stopping by and doing the show with me.
Absolutely, always awesome.
Fun. And of course, we'll have to have you again as I go forward with an evening program. I'll let you know. Of course, reach out to me. Let me know what your availability is, because I'm looking to begin producing something quite soon.
Okay.
So.
It's been fun, Big Daddy. I appreciate you.
Thank you. And all the people in the chat, Maya, Old Man Dan, Critical Cripple, Mathpig, everybody, Randy, God, the good one. Howdy. Thank you all for showing up, guys. I appreciate you very much. Thank you again, Carl. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all take care.
Trails.
Happy trails. Happy trails to you. Off to save the world.